Hello fellow Star Wars fans, it's Starrapter here. Welcome back for another episode of This Week in Star Wars Canon, where every week I break it all down for you guys, from the comics to the novels to the TV series to the video games and more. This week we have 3 new comics. I will be talking about spoilers in each of these, so be prepared for that. So getting things started with Star Wars issue number 42. So this continues the Ashes of Jedha arc. This is part 5. So we have the rebels on Jedha. They're seeking the help of Benthic Two Tubes, who leads the partisans because the Empire has returned to Jedha after its destruction to harvest the crystals out of that planet, the Kyber crystals. So Chewie has come back to Leia with these plans for how to destroy this Leviathan mining creation that the Empire sent there to strip the minerals out of the planet. So we have a two-pronged approach going here. They are planning for this assault on this Leviathan. It can't be destroyed from the outside, so the rebels have to infiltrate on the inside. So we have a team of 3PO, Leia, Luke, and R2 who are going on the inside. They're going to basically disable the weapons, and on the outside we're going to get Han and Benthic and all those guys. A larger assault group is going to go on in and just basically destroy from the inside out, is what it sounds like. Alright, so I'm going to get into my positives for this issue. So I really dug that Kieran Gillen has been pulling from Rogue One quite a lot with this because, well, we're on Jedha, so there's a connection right there. But there's more to that in this issue. So we have Luke, who's talking about Jin and about the sacrifices of Rogue One, and then at one point Leia is mentioning the rebel Marines on the Profundity who are basically sacrificing themselves so Vader couldn't get to the end. So I thought that was really cool, and bridging off of that a little bit, getting more into what Luke is dealing with in his mind. He has learned recently that Jyn Erso helped get the plans for the Death Star, and now he's wondering, dwelling on his thoughts about, hey, like, he used his targeting computer, or he didn't use his targeting computer, and then he really risked a lot of things doing that, and it was up to him to save the galaxy thanks to her. So it was really cool that he basically gave her recognition. I like that a lot. Another thing I really enjoyed was a lot of the callbacks that were mentioned going back to A New Hope, so even that is really fun to see. Another person that was big in this issue is Han Solo. So we have Han Solo, who steps up to be the leader of the second group after Benthic Two Tubes is wounded. And he doesn't have to do it. He actually volunteers himself thanks to his buddy Chewbacca. And I think that's a great kind of character development in Han, you know, bridging him from being that smuggler that we see in Chow Min's Cantina over to where we see him leading that assault on Endor. So it's nice connectivity that we're seeing fleshed out in the comics. I also really enjoyed the overall feel of this comic. It had some great humor, but it really gave me the feels at points, especially with the relationship and the dialogue between Chewbacca and Han. At one point, they're embracing each other, and it was like, whoa, wow, that's pretty powerful stuff right there. And overall, the artwork is getting better. I'm not saying it's amazing, but compared to the first few issues of this arc, I definitely see it's getting better. Okay, so next comic I want to talk about is Star Wars Adventures issue number 6. So as always, there are 2 stories. So the first story in this one is called Rose Nose. And this actually in the canon looks like it takes place after Cobalt Squadron. So we have Rose and her sister who are on what looks like the Radis. And she's trying to get used to the systems because they're very different for her. And next thing you know, the doors close on the ship, and the ship is basically acting haywire. You have Poe Dameron, who's in his X-Wing outside of the ship. He's getting attacked by the First Order fighters, but unfortunately none of their fighters can scramble out of the Radis because there's some technical issues, and it is up to Rose to actually solve the problem, and she does in the end, and we get the fighters out there, and this happens like right before The Last Jedi, it seems like, because they're still above Dakar. And the next story in this issue is called Pod Racer's Rescue, and this one's all about Anakin Skywalker working for Watto before we see him in A Phantom Menace. So while he's working for Watto, he stumbles upon this coveted piece of technology that he's going to use to make his pod racer better. So he's walking out of work one day, and next thing you know, these scum destroy the generator to the medical facility. These people are in need. He finds out that, hey, the part he was going to use in his pod racer could actually be able to power the medical generator to help those people out. He decides to help those people in need and sacrifice something he wanted to use it for his own benefit. And that's basically the story in a nutshell. So talking about my positives for each of these issues. I liked the tie-ins to Cobalt Squadron and the Rose Nose story, with particularly with the one character Fossil, who is in charge of the Resistance bombers. So that was really cool. I also liked seeing Poe and Rose interact for the first time, even though we know that they don't really know each other's names until The Last Jedi. And that's kind of, they do good continuity in this one where they don't actually mention that she's Rose yet. So pretty neat there. So getting into my positives for Pod Racer's Rescue, I liked the message of, just helping people in need, and, you'll get what you deserve eventually in return. And, after his pod race crashes in this race against the Bulba, the person that he helped ends up, kind of saving him to get out of the wreckage. And that kind of goes hand in hand with my next point, is it was really cool seeing Anakin actually race against the Bulba before we actually see him race in the Phantom Menace, because there's a throwaway line there somewhere in the Phantom Menace where he's saying that he was racing Wada, or he was racing Sebulba, and he almost got killed in an accident. So I guess we kind of see that accident there. So the next one I want to talk about is Forces of Destiny, Hera. So we have Hera. Not sure where in the timeline this is as far as Rebels is concerned. I do know that Canon exists and the Rebels exist, but Hera and Chopper are on their own mission. They're trying to get the supply run of these grains and kind of get these people to supply them throughout their efforts in the rebellion. So when they get to the planet, they find out the Empire has gotten there before them and is also seeking the same exact grains. So what Hera does is find some of the resistance on this planet, or at least find some of the people that are not happy with the Empire, and start a sort of resistance. But it's a very peaceful resistance where they, instead of fighting the Empire headlong, because they would lose, they start to try to do things where it slows down the Empire to the point where the Empire feels like it's not even worth being on this planet anymore. And that's actually how they succeed. So it's really cool seeing Hera actually being the leader in this situation and kind of acting in the shadows to build up a resistance. That's one of the things I liked about this issue. Another thing I really liked is the dialogue between Chopper and Hera. You have this great little, going back and forth between Chopper and Hera, and it really felt like a Rebels episode. And out of all the Forces of Destiny books that have come out, the comics that have come out, I like this one the most so far. I know we still got 2 more coming for the month of January. So the giveaway for Cobalt Squadron is officially over. I notified the winner, so I want to thank everybody who participated in that. Next week, you guys can look forward to me talking about Poe Dameron number 23 and Forces of Destiny, Ahsoka and Padme, which are out next week. So that's going to do it for me, Starrapter. I want to hear what you guys thought about everything that came out this week. Are you reading the Star Wars Adventure comics? How about the Forces of Destiny ones? And how are you feeling about the new direction for the Star Wars flagship series now that it's being written by Kieran Gillen? Let's talk about it in that comment section below. Also, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I have plenty of other Star Wars content that I release on a weekly basis, so you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed if you like this video so you get updates on when I post new videos on the channel. I'm Starrapter. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.